Chabatoni and back to Lynchman. There's Tutrian goes down in a slide. Tutrian goes the hammer, sky hammer, and tough to read. Mostly because it goes way out the back onto the track. So after the stall out, Lausanne will get a second chance to hold Lucelle. No, it's Lausanne. I had the same confusion yesterday, and you cleared it up for me yesterday. Well, you cleared it up. Was it totally cleared up for me? Potentially not. Fired deep and hang it up. Well read. Collected, put into the middle. That one for Barkley. Barkley trying to engage someone, anyone, please, and throws to turf. But Benji, you just touched the Soliban mannequin. That is special. It's the Solibannequin. Chichuyan. The mannequin has a name, apparently, Benji. Lunchman hangs on. Dina launches, but I think it's too far for Lunchman to catch up to. The wind is a whipping. From the sideline, Louves, another high stall count. They go big, but no way. There's two defenders underneath. Chabatoni gets the hands to it. Lynchman throws almost the exact same throw we saw a possession ago, and the ensuing from Chabatoni to
He tipped. I thought it might be a second attempt there for Swarm, but no, it's back with Louves. The wind is, yeah,
at their back.
Somewhat cruelly has picked up just before this game has started.
Lehman goes forward, gets Evans. Evans to Lehman, front corner. Hands high to cite the violation, despite the fists not being clenched. Now they were. I'd like to see the correction on the violation at the back there, Benji.
It's amazing, isn't it? Once you realize that no one does it, you see it. It's that Bader-Meinhof effect, isn't it? Yeah. Once you see it once, it's everywhere.
Yeah, we've talked about this before too, Benj.
We have, yeah.
Forces one into that front corner. Bardell charges in, and the throw is able to get shoveled into Bardell.
Normally, we say that, oh yeah, you win the flip. What do you do when you win the flip?
Take offense.
Right, but when there is quite a strong wind, and it's in particular in one direction, turns into an upwind, downwind game, then
you take the wind.
I exactly would take the wind. And actually, if the other team wins and they take the wind, I'd be tempted to take defense going the other way then, so they're not getting a break with the wind in that first point potentially.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like, the wind is more powerful than offense, and it's always the wind now. The weather can change so much. We talked about it in the last game. In these last 5 minutes, the wind has been going right left. If you have that the wind advantage, take it immediately, because that could just, maybe it will be even more powerful in the same direction in the second half, but it's a big maybe. You don't know. You do know now.
That's the thing for me. You play the conditions that you have at the moment, because part of the reason that we wrapped up a little bit earlier than we were originally expecting yesterday is because there were huge storms forecast. And to be clear, I think the tournament did the right thing by moving things around, because every forecast I saw was pretty bleak, and I do not mess with lightning, as I rightly think people shouldn't. But in the end, it never came. But, you know, again, being proactive, you take the conditions as they are, because you never quite know how it's going to play out.
Lundsman gets it from Diana. High over top. Pops one on to Pietrafesa. And she has to go all the way back and around for Ciabattoni.
Stall out is called.
And second stall out of the game.
And it's only the 3rd point.
A lot of defensive pressure. Credit the marks, but you got to credit more the coverage for the stall out.
So I think it's, with stall outs, it's tricky, because sometimes it is that there are players open downfield and the force is doing such a good job that they just do not let anything go. And other times the force isn't necessarily that hard, but there's just no one to throw to. Yeah, I think more than anything, a stall out is true team defense.
Coverage sack.
Yes. Yeah, one of those kind of loan terms we've borrowed from another sport that I think works very well. No one's open and you just have to eat it.
Back in play, quick to get rid of, had to be, Tutuyan. The athletic standout. Throws a bit too far that time, and we'll give it right back to Lausanne.
Feels like it's going to be a game where neither side's going to be at their fluent best, and you maybe have to be a bit more attritional and just make sure that even if it's not pretty, that you get the job done, whatever it takes.
Yeah, these are some of those kind of games where you ditch your tactics, you employ tactics to suit the conditions, and a lot of the time that means huck and hope or punt and pin. But a positional game as this wind picks up. Not, you know, maybe not right now you have to like go straight to it, but something that you got to be thinking about, particularly if you get a case of short fields working against you.
Yeah, I must admit, this I think is partly indicative of the level that I've played at. But in this scenario, I would absolutely be thinking, is there a way I can stretch this long?
And that one does provide the short field now for Flying High. Schindler. Inside throw, it's going to be too high. No, it won't. It will be run under by Flora Mosca. And very possible that was indeed the intended receiver. I didn't see initially, but ran onto that perfectly. What a throw.
Yeah, throwing against the wind, it's all about that snap on the throw. You want to generate as much torque through the wrist, as many revolutions as possible to really cut through this wind. Just sits it out there with the inside out shape on release. It levels out and hangs there, and a couple of receivers there. And in the end, Flora Mosca, as you mentioned, puts this game back on serve. Louves breaking to take a 2-1 lead.
Back on serve, 2 in a row for Louves. Wind, we will continue to give you updates, but it has stayed consistent since the start of this game and strong.
How strong does a wind need to be where it becomes a major factor in your game plan? Not just be aware, but okay, we're going to play more. We're going to play more positionally. We're going to maybe bring out zones more frequently. We're going to take the wind at the toss. How strong does it have to be? Or is it just kind of a gut feeling? There's no hard and fast marker.
I mean, how do you define how strong? Are we talking about knots here? Do you want nautical miles? Like,
yeah, I'd love nautical miles.
Yeah, then I don't know. I'm not going to have that answer for you. I mean, I think it is, the indication comes from failure. If your offense does not get clicking, as this one is trying, one hanging up. A great reception and quickly chucked in. Swarm respond with a beautiful score. That one in for Bolligard. for the goal. But I think it's a matter of failure, Benji. If that offense is not clicking, if you see the turnovers coming, if you see solid handlers struggling and watching what would be safe and zippy throws just being taken advantage of it and realizing, okay, some of this is out of our control, that is the moment when,
control is the interesting word for me there. It's like, okay, when do we feel like we are not going to have the same level of control that we want? I think it's why it's really important that you warm up as close to the pitch as you actually can, so that you get the most accurate conditions, because sometimes you see we'll warm up on a different field and then we'll come into a stadium, for example, and the wind, when you're a bit more exposed, is a completely different effect to the wind in the stadium, where you get more of those pockets and the wind can be a bit more variable. You get the wind tunnel effect, and you've warmed up elsewhere, and it can take a few points to get you adjusted and into it.
It does have to be an early and ongoing assessment. It is something that
the ongoing is key, I think, as well, because there are times you think, okay,
exactly.
actually,
but we've picked this because of the wind. Well, hey, is the wind still doing what it did when we picked it? That's again the benefits of having some captaincy groups and some separate groups amidst your administration. But here, Lausanne throws hard to Lehman. Lehman quickly turns. Odile was sighted, but it goes to hand before Odile there for the goal. Travel called before that one goes in.
Yeah, maybe she tried to jump it into the end zone and didn't bring herself back out again. I'm not sure what effect it will realistically have, because surely this throw's going to go and it's still going to be
a goal.
I mean, the thing is with the wind, right? It might not be.
Does she have to tap it to the ground? She does, and it was not an immediate goal. They did recover just quick enough. Back to Lehman. Lehman spinning around, high stall count. We've seen this a few times, and a pick called.
That will drop the stall a little bit and give them a bit more breathing room.
But
and
only
Swarm
just a bit.
Really are swarming at the moment. They are all over the place, and they are not letting things get out easy.
And they do finally punch their way in. Zoe Evans this time with the goal. And that will bring things to 3-2 for Louves.
Yeah, creating the angle there by just pivoting, not purely side to side, but a little bit backwards there, utilizing the 360 to create that angle, to crane the blade around there. Almost falling over as she releases it, knows that the stall rising, just has to get it off any way she can, and able to squeeze it into the end zone. And both sides have shown some ability against the wind here. It is tough, but it's not non-negotiable. The potential rain that has maybe seemed on the horizon hasn't arrived as of yet, which is nice because I've not brought my jacket. Maybe out of blind optimism. Again, as games begin to wrap up, the stands on the far side begin to fill. Nice to be able to actually kind of have the angle on the opposite side of the field, so we are, we can show you how everything begins to fill up. Ultimately, it's so much better when you've got a crowd of people. Yeah. Everyone's getting into it. You've wrapped up for the weekend. Maybe you can cut loose, have a beer or six. As the run through D comes from Aline D'accord.
And Swarm will pick up and have a nice short field to look at. The jog by Mosca to pick up. And straight into Galland. And a little bit too far there for Durant. And one more chance for Swarm.
They just started to float and sit that out on the break side, and it kept on going.
Back and forth and into the middle. Swarm. Valerio, ooh, nice hand there to keep it alive. Pacifico. Back to Valerio. Uses the full 360 and keeps it in front for Bolliger. Strong hands there to keep it alive. Hagman. Hagman, distribution in the middle. Pacifico. Valerio leads, but too far. Siebert can't get there.
A little bit greedy, I think, that one. The deep defender there reading her eyes all the way, and as soon as it was released, she stepped in front, never gave the receiver a shot.
Gallen gets the first throw into the middle. Now tries to hit the outside, but Dowco can't hang on.
Every catch has to be watched all the way in these sorts of conditions.
Siebert, goes center, and as you said, has to be watched all the way in. That one hits the wrists and bounces away.
Yeah, and when points, often they do drag on a little bit with the wind, and it's not a surprise that, okay, sometimes you will see maybe more timeouts called to get the opportunity to have a breather, get water on, get the mental reset, and also, if you've got a point that does go on a little bit, you might have a play drawn up for the first possession, second possession, but the more possessions you have, the tougher it is to get those kind of clear ideas about what you're doing on each possession it is. And so having the timeout can be a good opportunity to get something drawn up and implement it.
Let's see what they implement. Timeout on the field. We're going to take a break too. Be back with more action after these words.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond. We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and
Hallo miteinander, mein Name ist Daniele und ich probiere euch den Backhand näher zu bringen. Wir haben eigentlich im Koffergriff die Scheibe. Man nimmt den Daumen über die Trille vom Frisbee und macht hinten die Faust mit den Fingern, mit den restlichen, dass alles schön zusammen ist, sodass keine Löcher entstehen und man am Schluss die Scheibe gut losrühren kann. Nach dem Griff ist der zweite Teil die Positionierung. Das macht man, indem man hüftbreit hersteht, zum Ziel her schaut, einen Ausfallschritt macht, muss nicht gross sein. Es geht ja vor allem darum, dass man hier den ganzen Platz hat, um den Backhand zu spielen.
And after the timeout, both teams set, just about ready to pick up the disc. And now in hand.
Yeah, apparently the rain forecast is going to come in the next 10 minutes or so and the wind picking up. So, yeah, we're waiting an urgent 10-peg delivery.
And
there's
that one gets smacked down to ground, and Siebert will pick up for Zurich Swarm. Quickly cutting and eyes on it, but and catches behind the blind defender. Back to Siebert, into the corner for a goal. Swarm get things done after the Louves timeout. And Benji, all day long, the timeout success rate very, very low today.
Yeah, it feels like just taking those extra seconds to get your offense moving and in motion has been a real difficult task for a lot of teams. That time Swarm take advantage, and a really good catch, I thought, there by Carosio, because it's awkward, craning over, trying to track that, and it's fading away from you. It's not an easy thing to do, but she stuck it really well. I think I maybe rather optimistically and arrogantly said that the rain never really came yesterday, so we'll be fine today. Yeah, might regret that. Hopefully
Might.
the rain is cleaner than it was yesterday.
It was dirty
It was
rain
really
yesterday.
dirty rain. I was surprised. I thought everything in Switzerland was immaculately kept.
Yeah, that's the way it seems. Subways, buses, streets.
Runs like clockwork almost.
Tidy. Barkley gets the initiating pass. No surprise to see a zone out of swarm. Nicely chopped up at the front end. Lehman called on a travel. Not sure about that.
I don't think it's Lehman.
One pass before, you're right.
Try to push the pace and just a little too much go on the throw and go.
Stuck into the middle for Bardell. Ooh, low, but Lehman adjusts and lays into it. Up line, Bardell. Bardell leads to Barkley. Barkley swiping fake. Back into the middle. Bardell to Lehman. Lehman keeps it in the middle through Evans. Now Bardell. Low, nice trailing edge grab there. Mosca keeps it alive.
It worked, but why?
Barkley. And that one is knocked down. Taken away by Pietrafesa.
Just forcing the continual churn of passes there. Nothing really going more than a few yards away. Just continue. You've got to grind it all the way down the field. And we're going to get the block on you and we're instantly going to put it deep.
Chuchuyan there for the reception. And dump back to Chi. Open is Chuchuyan and she drops both feet inside the line. And now they're talking about it. We're probably going to get another look at this one as they discuss. Here it is. She and... no, she was, I think, foot down, not in, and everybody sees it on the big screen.
Yep, everyone's got the message. The joys of video. So she'll bring it to the front of the end zone.
Hand into Lundsman, hard, and then right through to Chuyan's hands. The pickup for Barkley, they have denied access this time.
I liked the look.
Bardell.
Pick. As they all try and scramble into position. If you're not going to play zone and you are going to go match, I think there's a clear priority here with this wind, and it's you stop the under. And say, if you want to jack it into this wind, be my guest, because don't back your chances.
Bardell. Goes to Lehman and given straight back to Zurich.
Lundsman's such a reliable quarterback of this offense.
The pickup, immediate throw to Chi, but too much on it.
And that's fine. You know what the plan is. Take the shot. If it doesn't come off, fine. We'll pin you in the coffin corner. Good luck. Might have some dueling chants going on in the stadium.
They do have some dueling OD fence chants. As Lehman walks it up to the front corner. Will she kick the cone? No, happy to see.
Some flecks of rain coming down.
Oh, and lowered in front. Zoe Evans put two hands on it, but felt the pressure and saw it to ground. Lundsman taking her time from the deep space, allowing her troops to set up in A vertical stack with Tutuyan isolated. And thrown right into Lehman, trying to get to the isolation.
Yeah, just locked in onto Tuian there, and Lehman recognized that. Steps in, easy poach block.
Bardell. Goes to the dump space. Lehman back to Bardell. Inside. Lehman too low. Can't sight Piskin. Shabatoni. Bit of a shimmy, finds Tutuyan. Tutuyan goes deep looking for Diana. Oh, the bid, but the left hand can't squeeze.
Diana was so close to getting that. They put everything behind it. Tutuyan, again, they're taking the risks on the turn. It's not quite paying off for them, but a clear plan. We're going to isolate Tutuyan in space. Find if we can get it to her with that break, a really good break down the sideline as well. The Jack and Diana, oh, they came so close. What a play it would have been if it come off. Louves, I think, say we need, not maybe just that breather.
Yeah,
just
put the hearts
pause.
back in the chest. We've been going back and forth too long. Not tidy enough out here. Let's talk about it. Despite the low success rates we've spoken about of timeouts, they have taken another. We're going to take another 2. Our success rates have been high. We'll be back with more action after these words.
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe,
Oh, wow.
guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
You'll find Steph Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
And at 3 apiece, a high turnover point. Louves coming back after timeout taken. Shovel pass to Bardell. And then Lehman back to Bardell once again. Lehman to Bardell. Leading throw, beautiful throw. Lehman continues. Barkley there. Tutuan coming, but couldn't come quick enough. Travel called on the throw. They might have to do that again. They're still talking about it. There's celebrations, and now they realize that maybe the celebrations are going on a bit too long. Perhaps we get another look. Here it is.
I think Leuman's saying that maybe just stepping into that a little bit, maybe take an extra step or 2. I will say that it feels like, it's funny how one travel call that you feel maybe is a little bit dicey, and it feels like it begets more and more.
Yeah, that one didn't.
I see why it's
travel-y, but yes, yeah, like by letter of the law, can it be called? Yes.
I see. Yeah, again, I see why it's called. Would I have called it? Depends how much I like you. because let's be honest.
So you would never have called it on me then.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If it's a game where those sorts of travels have been consistently called by both sides, sure. But if both sides have maybe shown a bit more of a propensity to let it slide, then I probably wouldn't. They punch it in anyway.
Good. I think well deserved. I like to see that Zoe Evans get their hands on it this time.
Steph, the timeout worked.
The timeout worked. Holy dooly! They're breaking the success rate here that we've seen and making it work as we get another look at the score. And Louves up 4-3 early on in this one. Some long drawn out points we've had now. We've had 3 timeouts already in this game.
Yeah, that feels about right. 35 minutes on the clock, it's 4-3. And it's, you know, I don't want to keep harping on about it, but the weather has changed the nature of this game from how it might have been if we played it at this time yesterday.
Yeah, and if you talk about right now,
right here,
there's
right
no
now.
wind. It's still chilly, but that wind that was quite gusty is right now gustless.
And it's very rare, I think, that you find a windy game where the wind is consistently high. Usually it does come in fits and starts. Often it can be about what, you know, almost an element of fortune of when you've got the disc. Is the wind calm enough for you to actually get a chance to score in that upwind direction before it begins to pick back up again? Credit to Louves, because they had an opportunity there and they pounced on it.
Yep, Siebert deciding to bring it to the brick spot. And we'll put it into play from there. Fires, and not enough on it. Defense can just turn into the interception.
Yeah, easy pick there for Flora Mosca.
Durand and travel called.
Tricky catch, Mosca. No, I'll put my teeth back in. Mosca dealt with that a lot better than I did.
Gallant winds up a little backhand and then continues to survey. High release, and I like the effort, but the throw made it very difficult.
This is where it feels like the defense is not just about the 7 you've got out there on the field. It's the 7 plus the sideline plus the conditions.
Great catch, and then sent deep. Valerio in the area, and they take one down and tie things up. Is there a... No, there was for a split second, but it's all tied up at 4s, Benji. Back and forth they go. We got a tight one on our hands.
Yeah, Pacifico just took over for a little bit there, didn't she?
Yeah.
Bringing it down under pressure and then deciding, you know what? No fear. I see this deep strike. I've got this throw. Going to see it out going towards the far sideline. And you wonder, the only question, is she going to be able to chase it down before that sideline approaches? She was indeed. Great work there.
Great to see everybody in the chat. Our reminders, as always, our calls to action. You know what I'm going to say, but it's always efficient for us to remind you to do it.
I believe it. Can I quote the great philosopher?
Chopo.
C.S. Santucci, 2022, when that video was filmed?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I need to make sure I cite it. Maybe a disc-in camp, potentially?
It was at Bologna's, the Bologna Academy.
That's the one, Bologna Academy. Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, best in the world.
Okay, so like and subscribe is the action calling for that. Thanks, Benji.
You can also ring the bell to make sure you get notified whenever we go live as well.
Tuyan trying to get a piece, but Barkley puts 2 hands on it. Lehman throws high, but good adjust. Odile to Piskin. Back to Lehman. And pick called.
Game certainly been played at a slower pace to most of the games we've seen this weekend, but it is no less tight and engrossing.
Bardell picks it up nearly from the turf.
There might be a suggestion that it was down.
I mean, close, but I thought.
I must admit, it's one of those where it's close, but I didn't really have any doubts.
Some doubt rewatching.
Yeah, maybe more on replay than I did initially, but look, from the angle, can't necessarily see it particularly clearly. When it happened live, I didn't question it.
I didn't either. When I saw it live, I thought it was up. It was close, though. I did say nearly from the turf.
Yeah, I think one of those where you just extend the benefit of the doubt.
Lehman. Barkley.
Another pick. When you can't run your systems and run your patterns because the weather does not allow you, sometimes you can struggle to get into those positions that you want.
Rhythm is being deprived from either one of these offenses by way of wind or defense, but it has been a struggle to really get into their grooves. Around they go, still trying to find that groove. Mosca goes back to Lehman.
Another pick downfield.
Gonna go back to Mosca.
Even when there are clean possessions, it's taking a while because of the stoppages for picks and various other infractions.
Mosca. Ooh, hits Bardell. That one came out of the hand a little awkwardly. Lehman to Bardell, not in, but close. Bardell finds a seam and laid out into to pick it up is Lehman. And another lead taker, 5-4, Louves stay ahead.
A long possession, but an effective possession. As long as you score, you don't necessarily mind how long it takes, as I can feel the rain beginning to come.
Is it a nice feeling?
No. Because I did not bring my trousers.
I didn't bring my trousers either, Benj.
We're just going to have to huddle for warmth like penguins.
But at 5-4, rain incoming. There's a look at the radar.
Oh, wow. Where are we? So Basel's pretty slap bang in the middle of your screen. You can see there. And
so is that rain cloud slap bang in the middle of your screen. So it's coming. Great to be able to slap our weather onto the screen for all you back at home watching to feel
someone I know
nice and comfortable at home.
Someone I know is a legitimate TV weatherman, and I've got to say, look, T-Pat, I did a weather.
Pacifico winds up, then sent back to the middle.
Airing it out.
Sent deep and knocked away. A chance to have a second effort by Pacifico, but it was wobbly and had her spun around.
It feels to me like Louves want to grind the disc down the field a little bit more, whereas Swarm are happier to take the shots, play defense, and get it back.
A clash of styles here. That one bounced off two hands, one in an attempt to catch, one in an attempt to block. And into the hands of Swarm, Bolliger. Carosio to Bolliger. Siebert goes up line and pays for it because Hafta gets in the way and knocks it away. There is an open deep shot, but no, disc was not available. Airs one out. That's not going to work. Knocked away. Bolliger is the one to get the hand to it.
Had a beat on that from the second it left the hand. I don't know if you can see the rain on the camera, but I can see it. I can see it in real life.
I can see it in real life. I've got polarized glasses on, Bench.
And mercifully, I think it's cleaner than the rain was yesterday, which wasn't a sentence I thought I'd ever have to say.
Yeah, dirt clouds yesterday. The under gets fired towards Valerio and knocked away by Mosca.
It's always tricky when you're throwing to a static target, that's why.
Gallant. Will Lausanne flying high continue to churn out? Is it their turn to take a shot for meters?
Everyone's just going to reset and adjust their position, which of course you are allowed to do to prevent picks occurring on the restart.
Everyone's set and into play. Galan. Inside throw, great throw. Hafta. Dumps to Galan, leads to Schindler. It is available and it's taken. That throw looks like it's gonna work. It shoulda. In and out of the hands, bounces out as Schmidt hits the ground.
Did her teammate being in the same area just distract her for the slightest split second?
Yeah, they were both in position to take it.
Better communication could have prevented that potentially. Floated up but caught.
Pacifico. Back to the middle. Wind up by Seabutt. That is hanging, dangling, and taken away. Schmidt to Galland. Oh, goodness. I think she was as bewildered as anyone to have caught that. The look on her face was amazement.
With all due respect, absolutely did not look like she expected to catch that. But that's why you've got to bid for it, because you never know.
Yeah, Durand. And back into the corner, O'Deal gets the goal after the improbable sticky-handedness to get that layout grab and keep the possession alive.
You get rewarded when you commit and you put your body on the line. Big warm hug, I think, richly deserved. Sliding, it's not necessarily textbook form on the layout, but she gave it a good old go, and it was exactly the right thing to do, because it kept the disc alive, and then, okay, we'll get it off, get you in a good position, and then we're going to call your number in the end zone. Galon doing an excellent job just sitting down on that flick to get it under the mark.
Yeah.
Really nice finish.
That throw? That was I thought she was going to go for the backhand, switch the field. Would have taken another second or so to get the throw off, and she just leaned into the forehand, fired inside of the mark, and made it count.
Well, the thing I love about that layout is because it happened right in front of us. I could see, you can actually see the look on the face.
Yes.
And I can't remember the last time I saw such a beaming smile on an ultimate field, like almost a cheeky, like, that worked.
Oh
nice.
My God.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, okay. Let's freaking go.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I think so often, people get really intense, they get really into it, and you can feel sometimes like players aren't enjoying it, and I love it when you see players enjoying themselves out there. I think generally it's when teams play at their best.
Yes, indeed. Grinners are winners.
Not always, of course, because you could be, Canadian in the, late noughties, early teens, but otherwise, generally. Never understood how they could only play their best when they seem to actively hate each other. It's baffling to me.
Gallant to Tuyen. Looked like she got inside of Daucourt, but somehow Daucourt still with the disc. Bardell goes to Gallant. Floats one in front. Bardell runs into it. Gallant. Bardell. Short field. Looks to the break side, now back open, and now dump. Distributes. Galland again. And a pick called.
Louves feel like they've hit a groove, don't they?
They do indeed. This would solidify the grooviness to go 3 ahead. High release backhand. Back to Gallant. Carosio. Oh, sorry, that's Durant. And that one doesn't go. Diana.
This is going to go.
And I like the immediacy, but just a little bit more out of Lundsman may well have helped that one. Diana was wide open, that's for sure.
Again, went for the catch with the trailing edge, and I'm not convinced that they needed to.
Durant. And then Gallant to Bardell. This trio doing some heavy lifting for their offense. Durant to Gallant and back to Durant. Floaty, Schindler, yes, gets it to Tuya and thought about it, and now's that left. An open answer in the end zone, and that's Dowcott, and she collects a goal. And flying high, certainly are flying high. 3 ahead now, 7-4.
Looking good for Fly High Louves right now. To Tuian with the floaty pass, all the opportunity to come in for a potential block. But if you gamble and you don't get it, it leaves you out of position.
So halftime is at 8 as
you expected, yeah. But you go for the disc and you don't get it, you're out of position. There's no one covering that deep. By the time Chi gets in the kind of area of the opposite number 77, it's too late. We've got a timeout here on the field with Swarm in a little bit of a hole here. 7-4 Louves lead in this bronze medal match at Swiss Nationals.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
That was indeed a timeout. We are 53 minutes, very conscious of the time. Halftime is a +1 situation, like an end of game cap.
So it's still 8:30 essentially.
Yeah, nothing really changes, except that it could be a very long first half.
What's the lowest score you've ever seen at half?
I mean, so the games are always different, right? So time is not the same. So there's at Windmill, there's games that are 70 minutes instead of 90.
Yeah, but they don't have
there's
time
beach games and this and that.
No, and like for a proper full-length outdoor game.
I'm gonna have to think about that. I'll let you know if something comes
2-1.
to mind. 2-1. You've seen it.
Yep.
No way.
EYUC U20 Open Final 2017
Open
main and dark.
Final?
Yep, Italy versus Ireland. Baffling game.
Was it weather affected?
Hold to Tuian with the drop. It was a little bit. Ireland played a really good stifling zone. Italy would make hundreds of passes, eventually try and maybe squeeze it in too tightly, turn it, and then Ireland would immediately pick it up, bang it the other way, turn it over, and the whole process began again.
Durant goes to Bardell. Bardell leads, and the run through takes care of business there. Pietrafesa with the takeaway. Pick up by Siebert. And overthrows, and with a favorable curve for Swarm, for Louves. Let's talk about the weather again right now, Benji.
It's wet.
It's wet and windy. Bardell to Durand. Back to Bardell, playing behind the disc, begging for a cut. And
there's been a stoppage, and I don't think the what I noticed for a fair old while there, Pacifico. Yeah, truly, if you want to capture a medal at this tournament, you have to be prepared to play in all weathers and all conditions. It's a real test of your mettle.
Yeah, it is getting just a little bit chilly, just a little bit wet. Bardell, lefty over the shoulder to Mosca, and then finds Durand, and that one too far for Mosca. Another turnover. Bolliger will walk to the disc. Swarm really need to get themselves back on this scoreboard. Bounces off the hand, Valeria recollects. Now Pacifico. Bolliger. Siebert. Sees it in the middle of the field. Backhand break around. Valerio can't handle it. And another one turned over.
Died at the very last moment.
Picked up by Durand, wiped dry. Bardell leads to Mosca. There's a collision upfield, and that is a accepted foul in the stack. Mosca waits for the upline. Where's the fill? It did come in the break side, but didn't look for it and had to throw low, looking for Bardell. And another turnover. Siebert will pick up. Lundsman throws around Pacifico to Tutuyan. Tutuyan fires. Siebert handles. Lundsman does a good job to hang on once again. Siebert and Lundsman behind the disc. Siebert, will she break? She didn't need to. Tutuyan came charging in the open side, and she contorts to distribute the backhand in that open lane.
My word, was that needed for Swarm. If Louves get another break there, going to half 8-4 up. You feel like it might be job done, really.
Job not done, Ben.
But job is not done.
This first half gets extended further by Swarm's ability to score there. Going into our 60th minute, we will very likely hit in the first half of play. Well, almost certainly it'll be 60 minutes, so a long first half.
Oh yes, 90-minute games to 15 this weekend. So still about half an hour left on the clock.
Lundsman to pull. What a pull. Barkley drops the pull.
Yeah, with the wind in that direction, you could see the pull pick up speed, and Barkley never looked quite fully settled underneath it. Great opportunity. You're going to pick up the disc, walk it to the end zone line. I mean, if you swarm, got to take advantage.
Deanna in the isolate spot. No, backs herself into the stack. There was one outside the stack. A bit disorganized, I must say. But they do find their way in. She hits Luntzman. She puts up the ears, and 2 in a row. They're within 1, and the half goes even longer.
I wonder if Luntzman's taking credit for the bookends having pulled.
Ah. Yeah, those are bookends. Like that is I mean, that's her D.
This is clear what the plan is here. Is there an easy look in? No, okay, we'll bounce it back to Chi. Sit this out into space for me. I'll do it all myself because we cleared that side of the end zone and there's no one there.
Like the ears she put up, those are the bookends. Yeah?
I believe so. There might be something else to it. I don't know.
It's a little bit of like old school Darius Miles when he used to do the head smash.
Who?
Darius Miles, old Clippers player.
Oh, okay. No, unfortunately, my NBA knowledge is not that good.
What?
I know, shocker.
Do you have holes in your sports knowledge?
Yes, many. I never pretended that I didn't.
I just don't believe that you do. You're too modest. The Darius Miles celebration.
Oh, I see. I'm with you. Just a little bit of a, poking back at some of the narrative, potentially.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you.
Louves. No one in the dump space. And a high stall count now. Lehman does give an under. Back and forth with Lehman.
Stoppage away from the disc.
Pick seems to be the call. Lehman leads, but too low. And one more chance for Zurich Swarm. Picked up and dried by Siebert. Luntzman, and the attempt failed there. Carosio could not close the hand to it. Lehman goes to Bardell. Lehman leads to Lehman. Ulrike on the reception. And Julia gets it back. Now Zoe Evans. Leads Bardell, fingertip grab.
You can tell that she thought about laying out for it and then realized, I don't need to.
And Zoe Evans does lay out for that one, but is still behind the disc. Pick up again, Luntzman. Siebert winds up and blasts it downfield. Hagman picks it up and then to Pacifico.
I'd have liked to see Hagman stay a bit more connected to Pacifico there and see if they could, again, run a bit of jailbreak before the brakes were truly applied. And the final timeout of this first half.
All 4 timeouts taken, 64 minutes in right now. Can Swarm bring this to Galaxy? Stay tuned and find out. We'll take a break until then.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And created the net and made fun.
That was absolutely incredible.
Rugging up as the weather continues to deteriorate. It is wet and windy. It's not. It's just so unpredictable right now. It's changing from minute to minute. Right now, again, the wind has kind of stopped. About 30 seconds ago, the wind was pretty blowy.
Yeah, this is not wind is stopped for good.
No, not at all. So, chance to take this half into Galaxy for Swarm with the disc. Siebert will pick up. You see them set in not the cleanest vertical stack, but a vertical stack. It's tidying up. And they're about 30 meters away from bringing this to Galaxy. Would you have imagined that when it was 7-4, Benj?
There was always a chance because we know that Swarm are a quality side, but it was very much Louves in the ascendancy at that point.
Swarm have taken that momentum and put themselves into the ascendancy. You see a little bit of a surround defensively here, trying to take away lanes from the initial throw. Siebert. Let's see how they've drawn it up. She goes around to Lundsman. Lundsman high, Valerio. Quick, back to Lundsman. Valerio wanted to go quick to Siebert, but still goes to Siebert a moment later. Leading throw, great catch, Carosio, and Valerio finishes with a inbound cut, and we are going to Galaxy Point. We're going to be darn near 70 minutes in the first half, Benji.
You love to see it. Great fight back from Swarm just to get it into this Galaxy Point. And by the way, if they break here, they'll be receiving to begin the second half, although would be going against the wind. But it is still, you know, an opportunity to tack that mini break on, although you can bet that Louves won't get it down without a fight. Both sides been able to capitalise on their last 2 timeouts taken.
Reversing the cursing of the timeouts taken earlier in the day.
Lehman just lost her footing afterwards. Carosio with no mark. Never going to miss that one.
That which is made to be far too easy on the last bit of calling there. We'll look at Swarm finding their defensive assignments, lining up. It is Galaxy Point, as you see on screen now.
Oh, yeah. Sudden death to take half. Let's go.
And there goes the pull. Barkley sees it to ground. She did have a dropped pull earlier.
I think you completely understand why, given what happened last time she tried to catch it in that end zone.
Schindler to Galland. Up line cut by Lehman was great. Throw gets there. Ooh, and the slippery fingers there. And Hafter sees it get away. Lundsman on the pickup. Tutuyan's gone deep. Schindler's in front and comes back for the interception. Galland winds up. Hafter catches this 2 hands on it and tries to engage. Instead goes to Durand in the backfield. Durand back to Galland. Galland finds a seam, and half is taken by Louves after giving up 3 in a row. They do get the job done. Practically spot on, 70 minutes. We're going to see a halftime, Benji.
Hard fought, able to get the turn through an error from Hafter, so it's great to see her bounce back, collect a deeper, and then finish it off as well. Dishing it, and always staying alert, staying engaged. Is there an opportunity for me here? Squeezing it past 3 defenders. Hafter collects the goods, and it's an 8-7 halftime lead on serve for Louves.
We'll take a short break for the halftime here. Make sure you stick with us, and we'll be back for more second half action from Swiss Nationals.
Hallo miteinander, mein Name ist Daniele und ich probiere euch den Backhand näher zu bringen. Wir haben eigentlich im Koffergriff die Scheibe. Man nimmt den Daumen über die Rille vom Frisbee und macht hinten die Faust mit den Fingern, mit den restlichen, dass alles schön zusammen ist, sodass keine Löcher entstehen und man am Schluss die Scheibe gut losrühren kann. Nach dem Griff ist der zweite Teil Positionierung. Das macht man, indem man hüftbreit hersteht, zum Ziel her schaut, einen Ausfallschritt macht, muss nicht gross sein. Es geht ja vor allem darum, dass man hier den ganzen Platz hat, um den Backhand zu spielen. Dass ein guter Backhand gewährleistet ist der Drall entscheidend. Man steht raus und gibt den Zwick ganz am Schluss, wenn man den Frisbee aus der Hand gibt. Das ist wichtiger wie Kraft.
Du möchtest so werfen können wie Daniele? Dann melde dich doch unverbindlich bei einem unserer Clubs und erfahre alles über Ultimate, die schnelle Teamsportart mit dem Frisbee. Alle Infos findest du auf unserer Verbandswebseite ultimate.ch. Wir freuen uns, von dir zu hören.
Soli, wünsche ich euch viel Spaß im Backhand üben.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
8-7, Louves take half after allowing Swarm to come swarming back into it, tying things up at 7, providing a galaxy point for us all to enjoy. But on serve, as Benji mentioned at the end of that first half, what a great game. On serve, but a game of runs in the first half. A long first half, a very long first half. All 4 timeouts used.
I'd be very surprised if this ends up with more than the final margin of victory being more than a couple of points either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd also
Does not feel like one team's going to run away with it in the second half.
I'd also be very surprised. Are we going for more Inception here? We are. I'd also be very surprised to see a final score of more than double digits. Malvina Volklova's just shown up. Is she playing? Doesn't look like it. She won't be playing, but she's here for moral support to get them over the line.
I don't know, I think you can go out there in jeans and trainers.
Back from a wedding. Not her own, she's not married yet. Bolliger to Siebert. Winds up the back end, gonna get picked.
Yeah, I feel like they've consistently underthrown those more than I don't know if they've ever overthrown them, really. Feels like it's always been too short.
Indeed. And wide, Durand goes down to ground and picks that one up. Ooh, and then this one gets away. Swarm to pick up, Siebert will do the job.
It looks like it came out of Galan's hands incorrectly, but given that they're wearing gloves, that's a little bit of a surprise.
Ball again.
Maybe gloves are lame.
Sticks it to Valerio. And another underthrown disc will get gobbled up by Galan.
If you're defending those players deep for Louves, I think that's what you're doing. You are letting them get a little bit of space beyond you because generally, again, they've not had enough juice. And it feels like you've got a much better chance of getting a block if you're slightly underneath rather than slightly deeper.
Yeah, play underneath and take what most of the throws are looking at, and if the throw is on, then give yourself a chance to play catch up. But it seems like the unders are the right place to be more often than not. Here's another hanger, and it goes away. Rosa Hafna gets a hand to it, but not enough to keep possession.
Yeah, well tracked, but couldn't make the catch.
Sent forward and intercepted on a layout there. Galan leads forward, and Mosca now looks upfield. Mosca goes to Durand, and a timeout taken. They're going to use every timeout in this game, I'm convinced, Benji.
When sides are so evenly matched and it has been such a back and forth contest, any single advantage you can give yourself, especially given that you've shown some form now off the timeout, it makes sense that you take it.
Early second half action. Another timeout. More love for our sponsors. Have a listen. We'll be back after these messages.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Meistering immediately launches it deep, got the shot down. No! Don't you dare do this! Finney!
Oh my God!
Who let you move to Europe? This is disgraceful behaviour. I didn't realise you had to check doppelganger. Don't you look at the camera like you know what you did.
The receiver
honestly
had no chance to actually check his feet. Seems like everyone will agree.
No one is safe from the curse of Finney. That's why we have to put the infomercials out.
Infomercials is about right. Respect the 3-meter line. Of course, this is a message for our players. Our players are our fans sometimes too.
A lot of the time, in fact.
A lot of the time. Though we are continuing to grow our fan base, and it's a big job of the players and community to help that too. We always want to grow our player base and get more people involved in the sport. But we also want to get more people interested and enthralled by the sport. And a good way to do that is to guide them to us here at ULTI.TV. Get them to like and subscribe. We've almost got 25,000 subscribers. We're pushing harder and harder to get there. Have you done your job and hit that like button? Go on, Galan. Gets it to Schmidt and then Galan. Laser, but too high. Second effort is there. Mosca doesn't give up on it, even though it went over Ing's head. And that's a goal on the board. 9-7, Louves stretch ahead.
Yeah, the timeouts are proving a real weapon now. They recognize that, took one there, and it paid off. This one floats, but Hafter at the back of the end zone, just lurking and providing the finishing touch when Ing could not get underneath it. 10 minutes left until the cap comes on. 2-point leads for Louves. Is that enough? That is the big question. The wind nowhere near as fierce as it was in the early stages of this contest, but the rain is heavier than ever.
"81 minutes just ticking over." So we will get to double-digit score in some likelihood, high likelihood, but still not guaranteed. No, it is guaranteed.
Yeah, it could be a winning score of 10, but that's the lowest it can be.
Pacifico to Lunchman. And sorry, that's
Ciabattoni.
Ciabattoni to Lunchman.
Pick.
Lunchman goes for big meters and gets all of those meters. Luyman. And Lunchman opens up the arm, and Schmidt knocks it away.
When it went up, I thought, this is some field vision, because I did not see it. Unfortunately, the Louves defenders did.
Yeah, Schmidt sniffed that one out and broke through the lane. Galland fires hard. Mosca with the pickup. Galland again, power position, runs into it and throws to Schindler. She'll have company, including Tutuyan, who plucks it out of the sky.
Yeah, Tutuyan was originally the covering defender, stepped up to try and get a block in the lane. Galland noticed, put it deep, but it sat and that allowed time to Tutuyan to close and pick it back up.
Dina throws the body, not shy to do it, but not happy with herself for not catching, gives a little bit of a punch to the ground.
No, they go after absolutely everything. There's the pick from Tutuyan that in the end came to nothing.
Thrown back. And Durand to Galland. Galland. Now Schmidt. Nice one left in front. And Mosca throws the corner, and Tutuyan has the disc in her hand.
That was thrown into all sorts of traffic. Not a surprise to see it defended. Again, I didn't see a foul there necessarily. Galland had to think about it and decided in the end that Tutuyan got in there cleanly enough.
Low
Off the hand of
Chi. And now a super short field. They have capitalized like this on a few occasions in this game. They've just generated a glorious opportunity to do it once again. Any forward completions will be a goal, but Durand looks back first. Ooh, and threw right into the hands of the defender. Great play by Ciabattoni, but a little end zone eyes there, over ambitious to shoot for the end zone.
Yeah, just didn't see the field as a whole, locked onto where they wanted to go, and Ciabattoni steps in for a relatively comfortable poach block.
Diana to Chi. Chi to Lunchman and back once again to Chi and Lunchman. Leads one out, and Schindler does enough to get in front of Tutuyan. And there's a call on the play, a foul, and do we have a response?
Contact as Tutuyan's reaching out for that, maybe. Again, it's always hard to tell precisely how much contact there is unless you're in there in the moment actually feeling it.
Extended discussion. "86 minutes into this game." The disc will go back to Lunchman.
So contested foul.
Inside, Chabatoni can't hang on. The throw was a little hot by Leumann. Durand and Bardell, twice she bid, and calls a foul on Lunchman, having her heel clicked, preventing her from having a chance, is what she seems to be proclaiming. Have another look, Benji. I think that's Phantom.
I must admit, I don't see it there. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but I didn't see it on that angle.
Yeah, I didn't see it on that angle either. Though it is accepted as a foul.
Yeah, obviously Lundsman must have felt it as well then.
Yep. Or just sometimes you don't feel it. You just have faith in what you're being told.
Well, I mean, that's the key principle and spirit of the game, right?
Yeah.
That you trust that your opponent is playing fairly and, you know, making calls in good faith. Otherwise, the whole thing breaks down.
I think it was made in good faith, but still not certain that's the way I saw it. Bardell does get the left hand of this one. Then throws in Mosca and Bardell, and they come down with another goal and stretch it to 10-7.
She lunged in to get the block, but she did not get it. And, of course, that leaves you out of position for the force, and it's a simple pop into the end zone. In the end, Louves, 3 points up, just a minute and a half left on the clock. It's a real tough ask from this point for Swarm, although, you know, we saw them reel off a 3-point run at the end of the first half to take it to Galaxy Point. Yeah, they could very well do the same here.
That's what they will be hoping for. Otherwise, we're going to get our time cap potentially coming up within this next point. A high likelihood, but no certainty about it.
Interesting, a lot of key cogs for Swarm aren't out there on this point. There's no Tutuyan, there's no Lundsman. Chi's done a lot of the handling work as well. Not seeing Chabatoni out there. It's always tricky trying to balance how do you call those lines in these situations. Do you kind of stick with the philosophy that's brought you to where you are in the tournament? Do you know, how adaptive can you really be if everyone, you know, has a clear idea of what they expect? And I'm very happy I'm not a coach in those scenarios. That ball lands out of bounds. Seibert will bring it to the brick mark.
Seabut will bring the disc to the brick mark where Durand awaits her. Valerio comes back to the disc and puts it off the wrist.
Yeah, ricocheted away. This would be a dagger if Louves could finish.
Durand goes inside Evans. Evans. And off the hands there of Hafta.
There's a call away from the disc, but I don't think it affected, so they'll let the turnover stand. I'd have to look at the catch again, but it feels like there's a clear intent to kind of go and try and catch it, hands outstretched in front of you on the underside rather than the clap catch a lot of the time. Doesn't matter when you can just run straight through and get it back, though.
Hafta there does get it right back. Barkley picks up. Durand goes to Evans and back again. Evans leads Schindler, and good defensive switch there to prevent the up line. Hafta. Hafta tries to squeeze it into Zoe Evans and can't connect.
Throw had to go on a high stall. Yeah, cap comes on at the end of this point, so it will be 10-8 game to 11 or 11-7 game to 12.
Seabut floats one up. Time enough to be run into for Hagman.
Good hands from Carosio.
Cadosio's throw gets swatted to the ground by Durand. Schindler. Goes back. Barkley to Durand. And that one's too far for Odile to adjust and run into.
We've seen her commit to putting her body on the floor if she thinks there's a play to be made, but altering the line late, having to track it is always too far.
And back to the line again for Seabut, and a miscommunication, and now a short field again. This will be about the fourth time at least that they've been able to start a possession on the attacking goal line.
Yeah, it's been bend but don't break so far for Swarm's defense this point, but you feel that can only last for so long.
Durand. Barkley. And Hafter in the backfield. Schindler isolated and gets free of the mark for the goal. It is a game to 12. Currently the scoreline, Benji?
It is 11-7.
Is that the only way you can say it?
No, but it's the way that I would say it.
Okay, cool.
It's the way it says it on the scoreboard.
Yes, it's true. 11-7. 11.
One away from a bronze medal here, Louves. Clear what the plan is. They're going to isolate Schindler in that space. On the sideline, I think you need to be really communicative here, letting the force know when that inside cut is going to bounce back, so you can flatten up, because if you don't, switch to the hand. Durand squeezing it in there to Schindler. And Louves can see the bronze medal in their sight. Grubs up, Steph.
Yep. Always well taken care of.
We have been very well looked after this weekend, I have to say.
Yeah, the crew here, the Free Speed crew in Basel, doing a wonderful job running their tournament, and part of that is taking care of us. One small part of it.
The most important part. But maybe not.
Crowd getting amongst it. They smell the flying high bronze medal. They're feeling it. All of their senses, Benji. They can taste it.
Yeah, for Fly High Lausanne, it is within touching distance almost now, as the ball is a little short, rolls out of the near sideline. Going to give a good opportunity to get the first part of the job done here for Swarm.
Lunchman calling the play Lemonade. What do you think Lemonade's going to be? They're going to pour something?
Nah, just going to rip it deep.
Sour?
It's going to rip it deep.
It is the rip deep. And Durant gives the assist, almost. The Mac keeps it up for another second, but it still goes too far.
Yeah, Chabatone is that far handler. A couple of seconds before it's brought in, she pegs it deep. It was really good work there by Bardell, I think it was, to poach off, get a hand on it. Chabatone nearly picked it up anyway.
Galan to Bardell. Bardell fires high for Schmidt, and Swarm will go again. Can they reduce the deficit? Couple bouncing fakes by Leumann. And Diana. Fakes the backhand.
Still rising.
Now inside and smacked down by Ing.
Bardell calls for calm. Can they get order out of the entropy?
Schmidt early into the cutting lane. Galan goes to center for Schindler and then gets it back. Mosca.
I've been impressed with the spacing of Louves' offense, because as we kind of tick down into half and there was that run from Swarm, it felt like, you know, picks were kind of slowing things down. They weren't sure of what they were doing, and maybe the halftime break allowed them to just kind of reassess and reevaluate what was going wrong and find ways to generate that space and utilize it better.
So Galan waiting for the tap in by Tutuyan, which she's now got. Bardell back to Galan. Over top, and Mosca goes into a layout to collect that one. There was a pick.
Yeah, she didn't know that though, and did a very good job of securing it. Disc is definitely up. I thought it was a pick call that before then. There's a little bit of discussion here.
Oh yeah, definitely up. Diana called it down, retracts the call. But I think it's going to go back to a call ahead because of the pick. A play prior because of the pick.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Galan on the Tutuyan tap-in. Mosca to Schindler. Up line by Bardell. Great cut, great throw. Schindler gets it, going back to center.
Cheeky.
Land and Schindler exchange receptions. Dowcourt leads, not in. Bardell for the bronze medal here. Can they convert one more? Now gone opposite field. Tutuyan gets robbed. Galan, and then it's in. Bardell and Flying High Louves collect the bronze medal at Swiss Nationals and win their final game, stretching ahead in the second half after Swarm kept it very interesting in the first.
Yeah, I think you have to say that on the balance of things, they deserve it because Swarm really rocked them after Louves did a very good job of establishing what looked like a commanding first half lead. They brought it back to Galaxy Point, but in the second half, they never really looked back. They came up with big plays when they needed them. They were able to move the disc more consistently as well. And Galon there, rising highest for fly high and just popping it in to Bardell. And how good must that feel for Louves to be your bronze medalists this year?
It is finals day. The bronze medals both allocated now. 2 games remaining for the golds. Up next, Ratrack will be taking on Free Speed. We're ready for that. It will start in 5 minutes time. Make sure you are too. Thank you so much for joining us. For Benji Reese, I've been Stefan Rapazzo, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Milan. I mean, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.